Okay, folks, the bathroom is coming along. It is time for me to do the drop ceiling because that will let me know where other things have to begin and end. Won't get into it right now, but when you're starting to do a drop ceiling, you have to make sure you have room to get the tiles in and up over the grid work. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that you have an 8-foot ceiling like we do here. You wouldn't want to put the framing right up against the braces, the roof rafters or the ceiling joists, because you wouldn't have room to get the tiles in. So you'd want to drop down at least 2 inches, preferably 4 or 6. But even that wouldn't work here because of this duct. So, and that end of the duct is higher than this end is. Now, I went right up against the duct because this ceiling is getting really low. I'm 6'2". I'm going to say this is probably, I don't know, 6'8". So I'm going to have to slip the tile in and then put the framework together, and then slip the tile in and then put the framework together until I get a little bit more room down there. I got about 2.5, 3 inches. To start with, when you're doing a drop ceiling, pick your height and go around the room with a level and draw yourself a level line. Reasons you would use a drop ceiling, obviously, is because we need access to these wiring splices and the plumbing. And in the future, when we redo the upstairs bathroom, we're going to need to pull this ceiling apart to run some more PEX. So, after you do your level line, I did my level line for the top of this L channel. So that way you wouldn't see the line down here at the bottom. So my line's about 3/4 of an inch higher than what it would normally be to mark the bottom. I lined the top up with the line, and in this case I screwed it into the framing, but you can nail it. It was just easier for me to nail it, screw it. I used my stud finder to mark off all the studs, and I screwed it, and I did the whole perimeter. And it's up to you if you want to get fancy. You can do, a 45 in the corner, but I just left it a 90. And you can split the difference here. For this one, I left it a little bit long, as you can see, so that you wouldn't see the edge of it. But otherwise, it's just 90-degree cut-offs at the ends, and it's all leveled, and that's ready to go. That's step one. Get your perimeter set up with this L bracket. This is a really small room, so I'm only going to need one main beam down the middle. And what you don't want to do is, you never want to just assume that your room is a square or a rectangle. This room is just under 4 feet. So I'm going to find the center of the room, put my main beam there, and I'm going to trim a little bit off of the tile to the right and the tile to the left. I'm also going to shift everything that way a little bit so that I have to trim the tile against that wall. You don't want to start with a whole tile, because by the time you get over here, your tile may be falling through. Or even in the middle, if there's a bow in the wall, your tile might be falling through. If you can measure and hit everything with a laser level and make sure that your widest point is going to be okay, let's just say I wouldn't do it. The safest way to do a drop ceiling is to find your center points. This is the center of the room, left to right. This is the center of the room, front to back. I have the center marked off down there as well. And every tile is going to be trimmed a little bit, which is good because I can let them go a little longer or cut them a little shorter, depending on what the walls are doing. This wall, I already know, is a catastrophe, and it dips in at that corner. These walls I built, I'm pretty confident they're straight and level and they're going to be fine. But I have no confidence in that wall. So next we're going to figure out the main beam and get that put in the center. Alright, so the room was 115 inches. Half of that is 57.5. So these cutouts in the beam are where your cross tees click in. And what I want was, I didn't want my first spot for a cross tee to click in to be 2 feet away from the wall, because the tiles are 2 feet by 2 feet or 2 feet by 4 feet. And again, if the walls are out of whack, the tiles are going to be falling through the grid work. So what I did was I found one of these midpoint, and then I measured 57.5 inches to the left and to the right, and it brought me right here to this line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it, but I'm going to cut it a special way so that it doesn't get stuck or scrape on the wall when you're trying to install it. What am I talking about? Right here, I want the white part that shows to be at my measurement, but the stuff behind it doesn't need to be that long. So I could cut it at a 90-degree right there, but I'm actually going to come over and cut on about, I don't know, maybe a 15-degree angle. And I can even end my cut a little bit away from my final line. And then I'll come in here and cut on my final line, halfway that way. Halfway this way. And you can just kind of bend this back and forth until it snaps. You could cut it with a disc grinder. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be hidden above the L channel. But you do want to have this flat so it's not pushing you up into midair and messing you up or lifting your tiles. Now I'll do the same thing at the other end. My grand total will still be 115, but as you can see, this is cut. The tile will be cut, and I won't have an issue with the tiles falling through the grid work because the wall is out of whack. Yeah, I brought it in next to the heating duct and it was rubbing. So I had to lay it alongside the heating duct, and I drew a line where it was touching, and I trimmed down my line to where it clears and we have a full main brace again. Now that's something you probably won't have to deal with. I could, of course, have measured this and used this for my minimum height as far as where to put that, but I didn't. You should. Do as I say, not as I do. Now this will be tied to the framework for the house above here with some wire, and that will keep it level and sturdy. I will put a level on to make sure it's not sagging before I tie it. And then my main beam will be in. This little bit from here where the duct juts out to there is just going to be free floating, but there will be a wire right here. And probably another one over there where the triple beams are. And that should be it for this room. And then I'll be able to slip in my tiles under the heating duct here, and then I'll slip in my cross tees. Here's how I like to cut ceiling tiles. I flip them backward with the, upside down with the crummy side facing me, which is usually flatter and easier to draw on. I measure at both ends. Now I take a level or a square or some kind of a straight edge. These are 2 foot by 2 foot tiles, so the square is long enough to span the opening. And you take a nice sharp razor knife, or in my case, this used one that's probably not very sharp. And you score it, make sure you have something sacrificial underneath. So if you go through, you don't ruin anything. All right. Now let's crack it. And it's a pretty decent cut. Now these are the recessed or the drop through style where the track sits up here and then this pops down through the grid. So another little trick you can do is you put this approximately a ½ inch in from the edge. And with your razor knife, you carefully cut down about the same depth as the groove running around the tile. Then you can carefully come in from the side. I'm letting the knife travel along the tabletop. And let's go a little bit deeper on here. I'm freehanding it. You don't have to. I've done this once or twice, so I feel pretty confident. If you don't and you want to use a straight edge, then by all means, use a straight edge. Alright, I'm going to put this edge facing the wall, because even though I cut it pretty darn nice, you can see it's brown, and everywhere else it's white. So, there you go. Not too shabby for freehand. Now let's see how it fits. Oh boy, it looks pretty darn good if I do say so myself. Now I will cut the piece of T-bar or track that goes in here. And I'll do the same thing on this side, so that way everything doesn't slide around and fall apart. Because if this can move freely, and if it does, that'll come apart. It won't be a big deal once I start getting it put together, but if you're having an issue with things not wanting to stay together, you can drill this and pop rivet it. But that won't be necessary for our little install. Okay, so like I told you earlier, the bathroom is just under 4 feet. So the tile won't drop in and fit here or here. We got a pretty good fit depth-wise. You can see the slot where the T-bar is going to click in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my razor knife and very carefully make a score line along here and along here. And then I will know where to cut those tiles so that they fit properly. And by having 2 of them in, this is not able to slide and drop tiles. So I'm going to try to work them in pairs. But I think what I'm going to do is I will do over the shower so I can get out of the shower. And then I can start mounting the fan light combo and this light. And then I will start over here where things are really tight up against the duct. I'm going to patch this hole like I said. I got a new vent that I'm going to put in. Probably over the sink. I was going to do tap into the duct and run a flex duct and put it over the door. But I couldn't find anything I liked. They didn't have anything small enough. I had to go over to where they do like the dryer vents, and nothing there was very attractive or appealing. So I got the smallest vent I can get. It also closes and seals itself off so that we can shut the heat and air conditioning, choke it down, or shut it off entirely in here. And I'll put that over the sink, which is going there, dead center in the bathroom. You'll see. But now we got something to work on. Let's go get that accomplished. I'm going to hold it down from above. Gently score it. Do the same thing to the one behind it. You won't be able to see me do it. Look how nice that last piece cut off. Oop. Oh well, it's going in the garbage anyway. So for here, ooh, sorry about that. For here, I'm just going to cut the tile off right where the original lip ended. And then I'm just going to cut a new lip up to my mark. And I'm going to score my line a little deeper. And I'm looking, this line is not really square. It's off by, I don't know, it's probably only a 1/16 of an inch, a 32nd of an inch. But again, the walls are not going to be perfect, so that's why we are doing it this way. Let's see about about this one. This one I'm going to leave a little bit of the shoulder because we're so close to the edge here. So I'm just going to carve off like a heavy 1/8 inch. Ooh, missed a little bit. Maybe I should be using a straight edge. Looks like I'm drunk. I'll carve this off. And again, this is a little bit out of whack. Probably one wall throwing everything out of whack. But no one's gonna know because we're doing it the right way. All right, hopefully I can remember which one of these was which and we get this put back together right. I think this one was here. Yeah. That one, we'll put this one here. Okay, center that up. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. I cut some cross beam or T in half because they come not quite 4 foot, but they cover 4 feet clicked into the track, so they're a little under 4 foot. And for this, you wouldn't normally do it this way, but I'm going to come in sideways, try to get it clicked in, swing it into place. Oh, that's a little snug. I don't think it's going to fit. I'm probably going to have to take a little skim off of each end. Let's see what we get here. Once you lock these in, they're a real pain to unlock. It can be done, but it's a pain. So try not to lock it in unless you're committed. I just locked in. I don't quite fit. I'm going to have to unlock them and take a little skim off of either end. Like I said, do as I say, not as I do. Oh, I got my tiles in over there, and I kind of got this side in first because the heating duct was in the way. And then I was able to slide this over and do this side. And then the heating duct moves. So there was a space over here. So I was able to kind of put these in alongside the duct and then swing them into place. Got those 2 back ones in. Then I started working my way this way. And then I got this last tile to put in. According to my measurements, it looks like a full tile might fit. Let's see what happens. You gotta cock this on 2 planes, left to right and front to back. Looks like I did it wrong. I got a lot of crud in my way here. I don't think I have a choice but to do it this way. Oh. What in God's name? Okay, let's try it this way. There's a will, there's a way. There's got to be a way. This way it keeps getting me close. Oh. Aha, okay. Support wires are fighting me a little bit. We're not going I gotta take just the skim off, which ought to make life a little easier. Okay. Be a carpenter, they said. It'll be fun, they said. All right, wish me luck. Is it possible? Could it be? No. Impossible. Cannot be. Why was that so easy this time? I think I might have been overcomplicating things last time. Oh, we're still a little bit on the big side. That's okay. I'll get my knife and trim that and it'll be fine. One more time. I'll show you the proper way since this is the last time. Use your straight edge. You can rock the knife up or down with this edge on the straight edge to set your depth. If you go a little too deep, it's no big deal. Just don't go through. If you're a little shallow, that'll come back to bite you. Guess I made it through. I'm going to just lessen this edge here, this lip, a little bit, because I think it's too thick and it might get hung up on the screws that are holding the L bracket in. So I'll just take off, I don't know, a heavy 1/8 inch. Oops, not all the way through yet. Okay. Let's try this again. What do you think, everybody? Third time's the charm? Fourth, fifth, sixth time? This, by the way, is why manhole covers are round, if you didn't know. They are round because no matter which way you turn a round lid, it can't fall down through the hole on top of you and kill you. But if you had a square manhole lid, well, that could come through on a certain angle and hit you and kill you. All right, am I crazy, or did this just happen? Like, didn't I just do this without any problem? I don't get it. Something moved. There's a squirrel up there messing with me or something. Come in. Come in. Come in. You can do it. Come in. I'm going to get my knife. I'm going to use the back of the blade to push on this bar a little bit, make a little more room here. Okey-doke. A little pushy push. Little pushy push. Come on, we're so close. I can smell it. Oh, 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 oh. Is this tight? No. looks like it's poking through. It's just not poking through quite enough. Sometimes you gotta kind of just vibrate the grid work. That's good enough for government work. Maybe it'll expand and contract and it'll pop in the rest of the way. But I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell that it's not almost perfect. Okay, folks. Here's the ceiling looking this way. Come into the shower here and shine it the other way. Here's a lower view. Here's this wall looking that way. And here's it coming in the bathroom. I think it looks pretty good. Alrighty, folks. There's your drop ceiling. By the way, small rooms, harder than big rooms. It's like a million times worse working in a confined area than trying to do it in a full-size room. I've done a million drop ceilings, and this has been one of the worst. Just because of the confining space and, well, you get it. Alrighty, thanks for joining me. Have a good one, everybody.